Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Pudganowski Podcast. The double P, baby. Nowski Nation for life. Yes, sir. Ha ha ha. Let's go. Time to get this thing fired up, baby. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is where you are right now listening to this podcast. Welcome to the first ever Pudganowski Podcast. Now, this is something we've been wanting to get started up for a while now, and I'm kind of excited to get it fired up, launch it out there and see what we get out of it. Not just for myself, but to help other people out there that may need a good story or just a good life lesson about faith or how you can turn your life from a zero to a hero. Who knows what we're going to talk about on this show. I've said it before, there ain't no telling what we could talk about here on the Pudganowski Podcast or who we might even have on here. But man, I just wanted to get this started up, and I sat here, after my stream tonight, I just kind of sat here and I was like, it's time to start this up, time to get it going. And I'm excited. We're probably going to do this once a week, maybe once every other week. Really just depends. I might end up doing it once every day, just depending on how I feel, what's on my mind. It's always good to to vent out, what's on your mind and how things are. And, and tonight's podcast, this thing's about how we got started, how the stream got started, how faith and just believing that you can make something happen, come out and happen, So basically, when COVID started, I know a lot of people that got into iRacing, including myself. And the way I found out about it, NASCAR, they got out there and they did their little esports, E-Series deal. And so when I first seen it, my son, he actually showed me, because when they, the first part of the season, they wasn't doing, they were actually racing. And then my son was like, yeah, man, they're doing an esports iRacing. And I always heard about iRacing. I always heard about it. I always wanted to get into it. And sure enough, I started watching that first race and I was like, man, this is unreal. This is unreal. And it got me so stoked, and so me and my son, we were kind of sitting there pondering, and we're like, man, that would be so awesome to be able to iRace and to be able to get into that, maybe get into something big on it. And, about 2 years prior, before that happening, I met my biological father for the first time. And in my life, I was 29 years old. I met him for the first time, and we finally found each other and got in a good relationship with him. I love that guy to death, man. If you're out there listening, love you, buddy. And but man, just out of the blue though, when that COVID happened and we were talking about iRacing, me and my son and my wife, and I was just so crunk about it. And then all of a sudden, my biological father, man, Chris Anthony, that's his name, man, he texted me and he was like, hey man, he was like, I heard you're in the need for a PC. I'm just sitting there thinking, what's this guy got up his sleeve, And sure enough, he was like, I'm going to give you my old PC. My custom built PC with hard drives and 2 graphics cards and blah, 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 blah. And man, you want to talk about being crunk, being happy, excited, to this day, guys, whoever's out there listening, if it wasn't for that moment, for me getting that PC, I probably would have never got this started. I probably would have never started iRacing. Probably would have still never have a PC, it just because I never had the time, the finances to go be able to put money into a PC, wife and 2 kids, man, that's it gets crazy out there. And I know a lot of you out there listening know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was pretty wild how me and him finally met up, and then, if we would have never met, if we would have never met, the whole situation, it still wouldn't have, fired off like it did. And we went out there and we got that all started up. I got the PC, and First thing I did, man, I downloaded Call of Duty Warzone. First thing I did. And then sure enough, I downloaded iRacing, and I started off with the Xbox controller just for like a week or two until my wheel came in. I started out with old T150, Thrustmaster T150. Honestly, if that wheel on the T150 was a little bit thicker, I liked it. That thing felt good as far as turning, the force feedback. I loved it. But the pedals are junk on it. So if you decide to go get you one, the pedals are junk. But man, we started iRacing up, and I hadn't even thought about streaming. I hadn't even thought about it. So I was hooked on iRacing for a few months, and every day I was coming home from work, kiss the wife, eat my supper, play with the boys a little bit, and then I'd go iRace the rest of the night. And it kind of hurt my Skyrim adventure because I was playing Skyrim there for a long time before I got the PC. And but then we started, I started doing the iRacing. And then I don't know what hit me. To this day, I still don't know how I really started up the stream deal. It kind of was like, I don't know. I was just iRacing, and I think I seen a couple of guys actually streaming it. I think it was Big Bacon, I believe. Big Bacon Gaming and Highside Racer. I was in a race with Highside in the Legends, 34 Legends at USA Speedway. And we were in a race together. And, he put the thing up there, hey, check out Facebook.com, Highside Racer. And so I looked at it. I watched it. I turned it on. I looked at it. And sure enough, I started P2. He started P3. And just me seeing my car online somewhere. And he got me that race. Unfortunately, he got me that race. I got into some trouble, hit the wall. And but just seeing myself on there, I was like, man, you know what? I got to do this. I got to start streaming. And that's how it started. That's how it all started. I mean, was for me being in a race with another streamer, Highside Racer. Thank you, buddy, for you. Technically, you got me involved in the whole streaming deal. My Memphis boy. But that's how it kind of started up. And so I got on there, started streaming, and, it was mainly for just my friends on Facebook. I just got on there and was like, hey guys, iRacing was a hot item at the time, because everybody was running it. COVID, NASCAR was running it. And, everybody, I was like, yeah, come check out me race this race tonight, blah, blah, blah. And we'd have, 30 or 40 people in there that was just my friends. And which y'all need to go back and follow the new page, new friends for old friends, you guys. But man, sure enough, man, I started streaming, and I remember the first race I did, it was a Class C truck race in Iowa. And I finished second, battled all the way from like 14th, battled up there throughout the whole race. But it was an awesome time, it's an awesome experience. And, the moral of this whole story is, a lot of people want to question me when I tell them, hey, look, where's your dream start? Start your dreams up. Go out there, go get it. Why are you holding back? Because you want to know what my situation was? My situation at that time, guys, I mean, me and my wife were living paycheck to paycheck. I'm 100% commission, and the selling the phones and all that wasn't really too hopping at the time because it was kind of like March through May area. And, so I didn't have the money to go spend, on all this stuff and to make it happen, but I made it happen. And guys, I'm telling you, man, if you have faith and you just believe it, and you get the people around you to believe that you can do something, that's how it started. Me, my wife, my two sons, my two dogs, my bunny rabbit, we all believed that I could start streaming, and we believed that I could turn it into something big, and we were gung-ho about it, and then, we got the PC out of nowhere. The computer came out of nowhere. And to this day, that's a huge blessing to me, guys, because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for that PC, I probably would not be on this podcast right now, talking to you guys and kind of showing you. And, but we just believed so hard, and it's just so crazy. If you look back at things in your life and you look back and you're like, man, how did I get to this point? And then you look back and you're like, dang, like, am I lucky? Is it God? What is it? You'll find a lot of those situations out. You'll find a lot of those situations in your life, and it's just amazing. And I'm telling you guys, if you believe it tenfold, back to the people who always question me about the whole chasing your dreams and, oh, well, my situation, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, that doesn't matter. If you look at some of the most successful people in the world, they started off dirt poor. They started off, on the side of the street. They started off somewhere where they probably had that same thought, but something kicked in them, a fire lit up, and they're like, hey, I'm going to go get after it. I'm going to believe this. I'm going to make the people around me believe it. And, it's just wild. It's wild to me. And I hope and pray that some of you guys out there listening, I hope y'all hear that story. And I hope that you maybe get something fired up in you and you go out there and chase it, and make it happen. Because, a lot of people think, oh, well, I got to have money to make this happen. I got to have all this to make this happen. You don't. It starts off, like they say in the Bible, it starts off with the faith of a mustard seed, as small as a mustard seed. That's how it starts off. And as long as you believe it wholeheartedly and you give all your faith, take that leap of faith and you start going after it and don't give up. I'm telling you, it'll happen for you. It happened for me. We might have, my Facebook page, the Pudganowski page with the 5,800 followers. Yeah, it might have, it might have got hacked. And I lost that page and, Facebook, they won't give it back or whatever. But you know what? I can sit here and I can keep on drowning myself in sorrow that I lost that page and how hard I worked to get that page. But that's not doing nothing for me. That's holding me back. That's holding me back from continuing my dream and what I want to do. And, I've surrounded myself with some great guys, on iRacing, through Facebook, through social media. I've surrounded myself with them. They've got the same thoughts, the same vision as I do. And that's why I know what we're going after is going to happen. I believe it. I see it. And we're going to act on it. And that's just kind of my point. And I'm hoping one day that'll be a breadwinning story for all of you. As, when Nowski Nation and all of us, we're where we want to be. We completed our goals and where we want to be at the top, And I just know it can happen for us. But anyways, I'm going off on another rant. That's for another podcast. But back to what I was saying, though, guys, go chase your dream. The pieces of your puzzle will fall in place. That puzzle piece will never fall in place if you're just like, oh, well, I ain't got the money to do that. Or I need that piece of equipment, that tool. I ain't got the money to do it. I need that race car. I need that chassis, that body, whatever it is, But if you have that faith and that vision and just believe it, that, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm getting after it, I'm going to get my goal, my dream right now. You can make it happen. And those pieces will just fall in your lap out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. That's how it happened for me, My steering wheel, my camera, PC, my monitors, the mic, heck, even my mic, my new mic. It all fell in my lap because I believed it, and the right people will be put in your life at the right times to help you succeed. I firmly believe that. I truthfully believe that. No matter how rocky the road may get, they will be put in your life for a reason, and you either got to capitalize on it or you can just burn that bridge. But if you burn the bridge, you're putting yourself back tenfold. You're putting yourself back, and you got to keep going. Work through your issues, work through the situations, and make things happen with those people that are there with you, that believe it with you. I can't wait for that first person to come to me and be like, hey, Pudge, man, you know what? I took everything you said that day on that podcast, on the first podcast, by the way, and I chased my dream, and this started happening. This started happening out of nowhere, and I didn't have to do nothing for it. I can't wait for that first person to come tell me that, because I know it will happen. And I always hope and pray that anybody that's watching me on the streams or that knows me or, works with me, anybody like that, I just hope that they see the testimony and they see the vision I had and where I started at and how I made it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you ask the guys that I used to work with back at the old store I used to manage off White Horse Road, if you ask those guys, when I started streaming, when I come into work, they were like, oh God, here comes Pudge. Oh God, here comes Matt. Oh God, he's going to talk about his stream. Oh God, here we go. And they were right, by God. I'd be in there every day, showing them the stream, talking about it, throwing ideas out there. A couple of guys, they were with me all the way. They were like, yeah, that's awesome, And we would start putting ideas in there. And then those ideas would work out. But there it goes again, guys. There it goes again. When two or more come together in the same mind, same accord, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And that's how it is. That's how it is. Like me and my wife, I tell people all the time, we almost have the same exact brain. We know what each other's thinking. We know what each other's about to say. And there's been so many times in our relationship, in our marriage, that, we wanted something, or we needed something to happen in our life, or we needed to hurry up and get this bill, or we needed to go make this money. We needed our sons to do this. And we would believe it together that it would happen. And I'm telling you, it's happened. Me and my wife have hundreds of stories of how things like that happened. And I just want all you guys to see it, that out there that's listening. I want y'all to see it. Start recognizing it. Like I said, look back, ponder on your life and look back at something that happened for you that was just so awesome. Whatever it may be. And then look at the events that happened before that happened, what you was talking about, who you was hanging around, how you made it happen. And I'm telling you, you'll start realizing exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It ain't as easy as I'm making it sound either. It's really not. Having the faith, taking the leap, that's the hard part. Everything else will just fall right in place. But taking that leap of faith, saying, you know what? Screw it. I'm going after it. That's the hard part. And I'm not saying it's been easy for me either. Like I said, guys, that situation I was in before I started streaming, before I started iRacing, I would have never dreamt it happening, but I believed it. There's a difference between believing and dreaming. There's a difference between those two. And I made it happen because I believed it hardcore, and the people around me believed in me. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And I just think it's so cool. And like I said, I hope it touches one of y'all out there. And I really hope y'all get to chase your dream and make something happen. And I mean, there's going to be hard times. Don't get me wrong, guys. There's going to be hard times. But you got to work through them. God's going to throw tribulations your way. That's how it is. That's how faith works. You will be thrown in a situation where you're like, man, this is just not going to work out. I'm done. And you can't do that. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep thriving. You got to go get it. I can't tell you how many times throughout the day that I'm just like, man, dude, this is ridiculous. A few months ago at work, I was kind of just in the dumps. I got a different position, and I was kind of upset with the whole situation, and I let it affect me for a couple months actually. And I was kind of dreading to go into work. I was like dreading to go into work, and I'd rather be on the stream. I'd rather be at home streaming. And at the time, Facebook was paying me a little good money at the time, but finally something happened, and I still think to this day there's multiple reasons why the stream was hacked. Why my old page was hacked. There's probably multiple reasons that I don't even know where to start, right? But then, man, I just started getting this fire back under me for work, and the last 2 months, I've had some of the best months I've had in a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean like a 9 months to a year, because I just really been down in the dumps, and that'll happen to you, man. That'll happen to you. If you are at work and you just let something eat you up and you don't want to be there, you're dreading it, it'll eat you up and it'll ruin your time at work. My situation is 100% commission. So I would go in there every day and dread working with customers that had bill pays, customer service issues. Hey, my phone, I need it fixed, blah, blah, blah. My voicemail ain't working. I have to do something crazy, to help a customer out. And the next two guys, they would be selling phones, making money, but you have to look. I finally realized that every day I was like, man, I hope I don't get no customers that's got issues, blah, blah, blah. I'm tired of dealing with that. I always feel like I get stuck with that. And that last phrase right there, I always feel like I get stuck with that. I stopped saying that. I stopped being so down about who I'm going to get at work, what customer type I'm going to get. And so I started waking up every day like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go make money today. I'm going to make some money and make it happen. And that's what I do every morning now. I wake up and I say, you know what? It's time to go make money. It's time to go get customers that's going to come in and buy phones. And you got to put yourself in the mindset. And this all revolves around chasing that dream of yours. It all revolves around that. You got to chase it. You got to believe it. You got to speak it into existence. You got to talk about it positively. You can't talk about it negatively. I could sit here and I could be like, man, my stream is just not taking off like it did the first time. The Facebook algorithm, blah, 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 screwing me up, blah, blah, blah. It's not letting a lot of people see. Heck, for example, Braxton West, Wild West Simulations, he's seen us tonight on Facebook streaming. And he was like, man, what happened to the other page? And I was like, that's crazy that people still don't even know what happened to the old page. They have no clue. No clue what happened. And I'm just like, man, I can't believe it. And it was so good to see him, by the way. Braxton West, if you're listening, it was so good to see you, brother. I hope you stay safe out there in your travels for work, man. And hopefully you get back to stream like you was. But it was just so wild, but anyways, I could sit here and I could be like, man, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not. Going to change it around. I'm going to start believing it. And we're going to see after tonight, we're going to see how fast that stream starts to take off. Because I'm going to start believing it. I know the guys around me believe it. I know my wife, my kids, my dogs, my rabbit. I know they believe it. And we're going to turn that thing around. We're going to make it happen. But guys, we're about to conclude this Pudganowski podcast. The first one, by the way, and they'll get better as we go. They'll get better as we go along. So, bear with me. Be patient with me. And but I just want to thank you guys for taking that time to listen. And, the whole point of this podcast was to let you guys know how I started and how the situation came about for me to start streaming and to start iRacing. And it's just so amazing. And I've got more stories along the line of iRacing, how Nowski Nation started, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to save that for another podcast and make that happen for us. And I hope you guys listen in and tune into it. I'm just so thankful for it, guys, that you guys take your time out of your day to watch me stream, to race with me, to make this thing happen, to make it possible, and to help me chase my goals as they are your goals now as well and your visions. So grateful. So grateful, guys. But be sure to follow me on Twitch TV forward slash Pudganowski. Go over there on that Twitch channel. Give me a follow if you don't mind, guys. If you got that free Amazon Prime, go ahead and subscribe to that page too for me because it's free for you. Thank you for all that. Check it out on Facebook. You're probably watching this podcast from Facebook. Check us out, The Pudganowski on Facebook. It's the old page is still up. The Pudganowski page, just Pudganowski. That page is still up. I'm trying to get it either merged with me or just deleted off Facebook completely if Facebook will ever respond to me. But you guys, go hit that follow for me. Let's grow this thing. Check out our YouTube channel, Pudganowski Live. I'm so thankful for you guys. And especially the ones that are there day in and day out. You could easily be like, you know what, that Pudge guy, I'm done. I'm done watching him. But y'all don't. Because I believe that y'all believe what we can do and where we can go with our team, with our Nowski Nation, with our community. And I'm so thankful for it. And I just want to give a couple of shout outs to Tyler Daniels Racing, BACC Charities. Thank you guys for all you do for Nowski Nation and helping us and everything you do. And Track Time Entertainment for putting out your great rigs. Keep it up out there, guys. So thankful for you. I'm just so grateful. You know, Ryko Motorsports, thank you for your setups on iRacing. Means a lot to me that you would help me out with that. And if you guys want to get you some setups, go check out Ryko Motorsports, ryko-motorsports.com. And we're just so thankful, though, man. I know my guys are thankful for all the support we get from all you guys out there, too. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I hope you guys are, too. So we'll check you guys out next time. Be ready for the next podcast, baby. Yes, sir!